The sky was dark purple. The twin moons of planet Vulcarus hung low, like bloodshot eyes watching everything below. In the ruins of a fallen temple, broken stones lay scattered. But one of them moved. She wasn't a stone. She was a woman. An alien vampire. Her name was Zara. Her long dark hair was tangled with dirt. Her once silver armor was cracked, soaked in black blood. One wing was crushed. The other was torn. She had crawled all night through the dust and silence. And now she had nothing left. No clan. No energy. No hope. She pressed her hand to her side, blood still leaking out. She had lost too much. She could feel her heartbeat slowing. "This is it," she whispered, her voice like dry leaves. "This is the end." She closed her eyes and waited for the cold to take her. But then, a sound. Bootsteps. She flinched, weakly turning her head. A light flickered through the cracked wall. Bright yellow. It wasn't a vampire. Vampires didn't carry flashlights. It was a human. A man stepped into the ruins, worn boots, dusty clothes, a pulse rifle on his back. His name was Jackson Cole, a lone salvager from Earth. He was looking for old tech, rare metal, anything he could sell. But what he found was her. He froze when he saw her. She tried to bare her fangs, but even her snarl was weak. He didn't run. He stepped closer. "You alive?" he asked carefully. Zara blinked, her eyes glowing faint red. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "I'm dangerous." He frowned. "You're dying." She laughed once, bitterly. "Good guess." He crouched beside her and pulled out a small water canister. "Here, drink." She stared at him. He didn't flinch. He didn't know who she was, what she was. He just saw someone bleeding, alone, broken. "Water won't save me," she said. "Maybe not," he shrugged. "But it won't hurt either." Zara reached for it with a shaking hand. The water was warm. She sipped. She coughed. But some life returned to her lips. "You're not scared of me? Should I be?" Jackson asked calmly. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Her glowing eyes said enough, but Jackson just sat beside her and lit a small heater. Warmth spread slowly through the cold air. "I don't get it," she whispered. "Why help a vampire?" He looked at her. "You're not trying to kill me." "Not yet," she smirked weakly. He smiled back. "Well, then I'll take my chances." The silence between them grew. Soft, strange. Then suddenly screech. Zara's eyes widened. "No." She gasped. "They found me." Jackson grabbed his rifle. "What the hell was that?" Zara struggled to sit up. "Run, now. You don't understand. They want my blood. They'll kill you just to taste the fear." From the shadows above, 3 glowing red eyes blinked open. More vampires. But not like her. These were hunters. Wild, mindless, starved. Zara's former clan. They had come to finish her off and take her last drop of blood. But now they saw something better, a living human, fresh prey. Jackson raised his gun. "I'm not leaving you." Zara looked at him, stunned. "Are you insane?" "I've been called worse." A vampire hissed. In the dark, claws clicking on the stone, Jackson aimed. "You good to walk?" Zara shook her head. "I can barely crawl." He didn't hesitate. He lifted her in his arms, even though she was heavier than she looked. Her body was cold, her skin pale, but she still breathed, and her fangs were close to his neck, very close. She closed her eyes, resisting the urge. "Why?" "Are you helping me?" "I don't know," he muttered. "Maybe because you looked at me like you still had a soul." She smiled faintly, then whispered, "Then I hope you don't lose yours." Suddenly, behind them, a growl, low, wet. Close. Jackson turned, too late. A black clawed hand grabbed his shoulder. Zara screamed, "Nitrogen monoxide!" Her eyes flashed red. She bit his wrist. He shouted, but not in pain. In shock. Because her bite wasn't just hunger. It was protection. And it woke something ancient. Inside him, his blood changed, and so did she. Her eyes widened. What are you? Jackson's. Blood glowed faintly in her mouth. The vampire behind them froze, confused. Then, Zara looked up, new strength in her body, and whispered, "Now they'll fear you, human." Zara was still holding Jackson's wrist. Her lips were stained with his blood. But something was wrong. She had bitten humans before long ago, in wars, in feeding. But never had she felt this. His blood was warm. Yes, but also alive in a strange way. It didn't just flow into her. Pushed back, like a force, like fire. And inside her chest, her dead heart skipped once, then beat. Just once. But it was enough to make her gasp. She stumbled back, eyes wide. "What did you do to me?" she whispered. Jackson stood, rubbing his wrist. "I was about to ask you the same thing." He looked shaken, but not afraid. Not anymore. In the shadows, the other vampire, tall, black-eyed, with twisted horns, let out a low growl. It smelled something new. Not just prey now, a threat. Jackson raised his rifle, his stance stronger. "I feel weird," he muttered. "You should be dead," Zara whispered. "That much blood loss, from a vampire bite." Jackson glanced at her glowing eyes. "Maybe. I'm not just human anymore." The creature hissed and leapt. But Jackson didn't panic. He moved like he already knew where it would land. His body spun. The rifle fired point-blank. Boom. The vampire hit the wall, smoke rising from its back. Zara stared at him, mouth slightly open. "You moved like one of us." He turned toward her. "Maybe your bite woke something up." "No," she stepped closer. "My bite doesn't give power, it takes, unless." "Unless what?" She looked at him. Differently now. "Unless your blood was never normal to begin with." They didn't have time to talk. More movement. 3 shadows now. The clan had arrived full force. "Too many," Zara whispered. "We can't win. I'm open to ideas." She looked down, then at his blood still glowing faintly in her mouth. "There is one way," she said slowly. "I won't like it, will I? You won't survive it. Unless you're stronger than you look." He narrowed his eyes. "What do I have to do?" She stepped closer, so close he could smell the dust in her hair. "And something sweeter underneath. You'll have to let me drink again. But not just a taste, a bonding. It's not feeding, it's fusing. It'll link me to your body, and you to mine." Jackson raised an eyebrow. "Is that your vampire way of saying we'll be roommates?" "It's more than that," she whispered. "We'll feel each other's fear, pain, pleasure. If one of us dies, the other breaks." He hesitated, then smirked. "You sure you want me in your head?" She looked away. "I'd rather risk your mind than lose mine too." "Them," the vampires shrieked, closing in. He nodded. "Do it." Zara didn't wait. She grabbed the back of his neck, pulled him close, and sank her fangs deep into his throat. But this time, it wasn't just blood she took. It was memory. Heat. Fire. Jackson saw flashes in his mind. A throne of bones. A child Zara standing barefoot in the rain of a dying moon. Chains, whips, screams. Then escape, betrayal, her clan turning on her. He felt her pain, and she felt his. A burning planet. Earth, war, family gone. A brother lost in space. Years of silence. Then, the bite ended. They both gasped. Zara stepped back. Jackson dropped to one knee, panting, but not broken. His veins shimmered faintly red, then faded. She looked at him in awe. "You're not human anymore." "I didn't feel very human to begin with," he muttered. The ground shook. One of the clan leapt toward them again. Zara's eyes lit up. She raised her hand. Just one, and the vampire froze midair, choking. Jackson looked at her. "That you?" She nodded slowly. "That was us." She clenched her fist. The vampire burst into ash. The others backed off. For now, but they would return. Jackson looked around. We need a new place to hide. Zara nodded. I know one. But it's far and deep. How far? Under the surface. A place no human has stepped, and even vampires fear it. He grinned. Sounds cozy. They began moving her, leaning on him less now. Her strength was returning. And his was. Growing. But neither of them could explain what just happened, or what they had become. The moon turned red. Not because of a sunset, because something had awakened below the planet's crust. Zara felt it first. A deep pulse. Like a heartbeat under the ground. She froze. Jackson noticed her silence. What is it? She didn't answer right away. Her eyes stared into the dark, like she was remembering something she wished she hadn't. Then she spoke. There's a place, she whispered. Deep beneath this world. My clan called it the Hollow Moon. Sounds lovely, Jackson muttered. She looked at him. That's where the first vampire queen was buried. He blinked. So, why go there? Because it's the one place. Even they won't follow us. Jackson tilted his head. Let me guess, because if they enter, they don't come out. She nodded. The silence between them stretched. Then he said, well, I've had worse vacations. They moved quickly, half running, half sliding down broken ruins and through cold tunnels. Jackson's body still buzzed from their bond. His blood felt warmer, his vision sharper, his instincts faster. But it also came with something new. Hunger. Not for food, for her. He pushed the thought aside. They reached a black crack in the stone wall that looked like a wound in the planet itself. Zara placed her hand on it. The stone hissed and opened. Jackson stared. That's not normal. No, she said. It's sacred. They entered. Inside, the air was colder. The silence heavier. The path sloped downward, deep into the earth. Faint red lights glowed from fungus growing on the walls. Their shadows moved, like they had minds of their own. Jackson tried not to stare too long. Zara finally spoke. In the old times, before vampires hunted humans, before the wars, our kind lived by a pact. Jackson raised an eyebrow. What kind of pact? Blood for shelter. Vampires protected humans from the beasts of this world. In return, the humans gave small amounts of blood freely like gifts. No deaths, no fear. Jackson looked surprised. So you weren't always monsters? She gave him a sideways look. We became monsters when the humans stopped trusting us, and we stopped caring. He was quiet for a moment, then said, maybe it's time someone rewrites that pact. She stopped walking, turned to him. Her eyes searched his. You'd offer yourself again? He shrugged. If it means keeping us alive, why not? You don't know what that means. Then explain. Zara stepped close. Very close. The original blood pact wasn't just a bite, she said softly. It was a ritual under moonlight, between equals. Not hunter and prey, but... She hesitated. Jackson filled the silence. But what? It's done with hands bound. And lips touching. A vow. One vampire. One human. Connected. He smirked. Lips touching? It seals the bond. Jackson chuckled. You mean, it's basically a kiss with fangs? Zara didn't smile. Her eyes were serious. If we do this, we're not strangers anymore. We'll feel everything. Pain, pleasure, fear. If you betray me. I won't, he interrupted. You might. But I won't. They stared at each other. Then she nodded. She pulled a thin blade from her waist. Silver, old, marked with runes. Jackson reached out without flinching. She sliced a line across his palm. He didn't move. Then she did the same to her own, their blood red and black drip. They pressed their palms together. The ground rumbled. Faint whispers echoed in the air. The bond began. Then Zara leaned forward. Their lips touched. Not soft, Not gentle, but real. The pact was sealed. Light burst from their joined hands for one moment. Everything stopped, even time. Then dash boomed out. The stone behind them cracked. A voice echoed in the tunnel. Not hers, not his, another. Pact, after all these years? Jackson turned. Who the hell? Zahra's eyes widened in horror. No, it can't be. From the shadows, a tall woman stepped forward, skin like obsidian, eyes glowing white, wings massive, folded behind her back. The first queen, not dead. Not buried, awake, and watching. The queen didn't walk. She floated. Her feet never touched the ground as she glided toward them, slow, graceful, terrifying. Jackson could feel it. His chest tightened. Like invisible hands gripped his ribs. Zahra was frozen. This isn't possible, she whispered. You were sealed. The queen's white eyes glowed like twin moons. Yes, sealed, betrayed, forgotten, but now freed. Jackson stepped between them. You know her? She was the first, Zahra said. The original vampire. Our maker, our curse. And now, the queen smiled, her fangs pearly white. You bring me a human with awakened blood, and dare to bond him without my blessing? Jackson kept his voice calm. Look, lady, I didn't ask for this. The queen's smile faded. She lifted one hand. Boom. The cave shook. The walls pulsed, literally pulsed with light, like a living organ. Then came the voices. Thousands of whispers. All around. In the walls, in the stones. Some laughed. Some screamed. Jackson turned. What the hell is this place? Zahra looked. Pale. This is where the blood echoes live. The what now? She pointed to the wall. Dark stains moving beneath the surface like shadows swimming in blood. Every vampire who died in this cave left part of their soul behind, their memory, their pain. It never leaves. Jackson took a step back. And they're just watching us. No, the queen said, eyes locked on him. They're judging you. Suddenly, the floor cracked. Beneath Jackson's boots, red mist rose. Then, a voice spoke inside his head. Not the queen's, not Zahra's, his brother's. Jackson. Why didn't you save me? He froze, eyes wide. Alex? The voice came again. You left me, on Phobos, you ran. I tried to come back. You lied. Zahra grabbed his arm. Don't listen. It's not real. It's his echo, the queen said. His guilt. Pulled forward by the bond. Jackson's hands shook, but he clenched them into fists. Shut up, he growled. You're not him. The voice faded. The mist cleared. The queen looked. Impressed. You resist well, she said. I've had worse dreams. Jackson muttered. She turned to Zahra. You should have died. You were marked. Zahra stood tall. I lived. I suffered. I fought. And now you bond a human. Queen said, you broke the chain. Jackson stepped beside her. So what? You going to punish us? The queen's eyes narrowed. Then she smiled. No, I will test you. The wall behind her slid open, revealing a glowing crimson pool. Thick. Boiling. Alive. The echo pit, Zahra whispered. The queen nodded. Enter it. Together. If you survive, your bond is true. If not, you feed the cave. Jackson looked at Zahra. You ever done this before? No one has, she said. It's supposed to be a myth. Great. They stepped toward it. The closer they got, the louder the whispers became. Faces swirled in the liquid, screaming, begging, laughing. Jackson took Zahra's hand. Ready? He asked. No, she said honestly. But I'd rather die with you than crawl away alone. They stepped in. The heat hit instantly. Not physical heat, but memory. Every pain, every loss, every moment they ever regretted. Jackson saw his mother's last words. Zahra saw the moment she was whipped by her own clan for protecting a child. The blood wrapped around them like a storm. They screamed and held on to each other. Then, silence. The blood cooled. The pain stopped. And they stood in a circle of light floating together. The queen's voice echoed softly. You have passed. They blinked. The pool drained. They stood on solid stone once more. Jackson looked at his hand. It had a mark now. A small glowing red ring burned into his palm. Zara had one too. The queen stepped back into the shadows. You are no longer vampire or human. You are something new. Zara sat by the cave wall, breathing harder than she wanted to admit. Not from fear, not from pain, but from him. Jackson. His heartbeat still echoed in her ears. Even though they were no longer in the echo pit, she had never heard a human's pulse sound like this before. Deep, slow, powerful. It called to her in a way that made her lips part and her fingers twitch. She wasn't just hungry, she was burning. Jackson paced nearby, arms crossed. The mark on his palm still glowed faint. Red. Every few seconds, it pulsed, and she flinched. She could feel it in her chest. He noticed her staring. You okay? He asked. She looked away. No. He stepped closer. Still in pain? Yes, she whispered, but not from the test. He raised an eyebrow. Then what? She hesitated. Her voice was dry when she said it. Your pulse, it's too loud. I feel it through my whole body. Jackson blinked. That sounds weirdly hot. It's not supposed to be, she growled, standing up. This shouldn't be happening. The bond isn't just blood anymore. It's deeper. It's pulling me toward you. He didn't back away. Instead, he moved closer. Then don't fight. Her breath caught. Jackson. She warned. He leaned in slightly. Do you feel that too? Yes, she said. And it's wrong. Why? Because if I lose control, I might hurt you. His voice dropped low. What if I want you to? She froze. Everything about him screamed human. His face, his scent, his voice. But under the skin, something else was there now. Something that responded to her. Her fangs itched. Her fingers flexed. She wanted to taste him again, not just for survival, but for pleasure. She turned fast, walking to the edge of the tunnel. Cold air swept in. She needed a distraction. Instead, what she got was danger. A low growl echoed from ahead. Her eyes narrowed. We're not alone. Jackson lifted his rifle, stepping beside her. Another vampire? No, she said. Something worse. From the shadows came a tall beast-gray skin with 6 eyes and rows of claws dripping green poison. XEYRA whispered. A grave stalker. They hunt bonded pairs. They feed on connection. The beast hissed, its mouth opening sideways. Spitting steam. Jackson didn't wait. He fired. 3 clean shots to the head. The beast didn't fall. It charged. Jackson dove left. Zara rolled right. They landed on opposite sides of the tunnel. The beast paused, eyes darting between them. It smelled the bond. It would strike where it hurt most. It lunged at Zara. Before she could react, Jackson sprinted, slamming into the beast's side. The claws sliced his back, but he didn't fall. He grabbed the beast's head, and something strange happened. His palm mark glowed white hot. The beast screamed. Smoke poured from its skin. It writhed, then collapsed. Jackson fell to one knee, blood dripping from his back. Zara ran to him, catching him before he dropped. He looked up. You okay? She stared. You just burned a grave stalker with your bare hands. He smiled faintly. Guess I'm not fully human anymore. Her hands pressed to his wound. This shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be healing this fast. You shouldn't be. Her voice broke. He looked into her eyes. You want to bite me again, he said softly. She nodded. He leaned closer. Then do it. Her lips trembled. I can't. He touched her cheek. You already did once. And I'm still here. She didn't answer. She bit, not his neck, his wrist. Slow, deep, Sensual. He gasped. And she moaned low. Soft, uncontrollable. His blood wasn't fire now, it was music. It flowed into her like warmth. After 1,000 winters, she drank just enough. Then pulled back. Their eyes met. No words, just heat. And the sound of both their pulses, sinking into one rhythm. She had forgotten what it felt like. To be warm. To be full. To feel strength flowing inside her bones again. But more than that, Zara had forgotten what it felt like to be free. Not controlled by her hunger. Not owned by her clan. Not crawling for scraps of survival. And all of that changed because of him. Because of Jackson. He didn't give her orders. He gave her power. But that power came with a price. As they walked deeper through the cave tunnels toward an exit only she knew, Zara could feel something boiling inside her. Not blood. Memory. Old voices echoed again. Bite when you're told to bite. Kneel when your name is called. You're not a queen, you're food with claws. She had been branded, caged, controlled by her own clan leader, a vampire named Thavok. Cold, he used her beauty to bait others. Then punished her for existing. He was the one who tore her wings. He was the one who left her for dead. But she wasn't dead now. She was more alive than ever. And she wanted revenge. Jackson broke the silence. You keep grinding your teeth. Zara blinked. Do I? Yeah, looks like you're thinking about killing someone. She smirked. I am. He raised an eyebrow. Want to talk about it? Only if you're ready to help me tear a monster apart. He didn't hesitate. Where is he? She stared at him. You don't even know who. Doesn't matter, he said. If he hurt you, I'll help bury him. Something tightened in her chest. No one ever said that before. They reached a cavern lit by glowing green crystals. It shimmered, almost peaceful. And then a voice, slow, cruel, familiar. Well, the broken wing returns. Jackson lifted his rifle instantly. A tall vampire stepped from the shadows, skin like stone, horns curled back. Red tattoos across his chest. Thavok. Zara's breath caught. Her eyes narrowed. He stepped closer. You brought me a gift? A human toy, Jackson aimed. One step closer, and I'll wipe that smug off your fanged face. Thavok laughed. You think she chose you? She bites whoever bleeds easiest. Jackson's jaw clenched, but Zara stepped forward. No, she said. He gave me something you never could. Thavok tilted his head. What's that? Respect, he growled. You were mine. Not anymore. Thavok lunged. Jackson fired missed. The vampire was fast, too fast. He struck Jackson across the chest, sending him crashing into the wall. Zara screamed. Don't touch him. Thavok turned, smirking. Still protecting your pets? Zara's eyes glowed bright red. You made a mistake, she whispered. Oh, Thavok mocked. And what's that? You let me live. She vanished. One blink, and she was already behind him, her fangs sunk deep into his neck. He howled, clawing at her, but she didn't let go. This wasn't feeding, this was war. She drained not his blood, but his strength, his control, his legacy. He collapsed to his knees, eyes wide. No, you were nothing. She stood over him, her mouth stained crimson. I was nothing, she said coldly, until a human gave me a reason to stand. She grabbed his head, and with one clean twist snapped his neck. Silence. Jackson groaned from the wall. She ran to him, holding his face gently. Hey, she whispered. You with me? He nodded slowly. Next time, I shoot first. She smiled. Next time, I'll let you. They sat together by the crystal wall. Zara closed her eyes. For the first time in her life, she felt truly unchained. But then, her body shook. Not from weakness, from something else. She clutched her chest. Jackson, something's wrong. He leaned close. What is it? Her voice cracked. The bond. It's changing again. His mark glowed. So did hers. Only now it wasn't red. It was gold. The gold glow didn't fade. It grew brighter, hotter, until it hurt to breathe. Zara clutched her chest, dropping to her knees. Jackson ran to her side, holding her as her body shook with heat. "Stay with me," he said. "Tell me what's happening." "I don't know," she gasped. "This isn't just the bond. This is older. It's like something ancient is trying to come through me." Suddenly, her eyes turned completely golden. Not red. Golden. And when she opened her mouth, her voice wasn't just hers anymore. It was layered. Deeper, stronger. "My name was lost to time," she said in a strange tone. "But through this union, I return." Jackson stepped back. "Okay. You're freaking me out now." She blinked hard. Her normal voice came back. "Jackson, I think the Queen lied." "About what?" "The bond we made, it wasn't just blood. It was a vessel. She needed a host. And I just opened the door." "Host for who?" She stood slowly, golden light still humming from her skin. "Not the Queen, not even the old gods, someone else. Someone who once ruled both vampire and human alike." "You mean like a god?" "She turned a hybrid, the first of us. Half man, half night." Jackson swallowed. "And now that power's inside you?" She nodded once. "But only because of you." Before he could respond, the ground above exploded. Daylight poured through, and with it ships. Military ships, Earth's Federation troopers. Loudspeakers echoed, "Step away from the alien. Hands above your head. You are under arrest for unauthorized contact and trafficking of hostile species." Jackson groaned. "Of course." More soldiers dropped in, guns raised. Zara stepped in front of him, fangs slightly bared. But Jackson touched her arm. "No, wait." He stepped forward. "I'm Jackson Cole. This woman saved my life, multiple times. She's not a threat." One officer laughed. "She's a vampire. She's a walking death sentence." Jackson nodded. "And yet, she gave me her strength. She didn't bite me to feed. She bit me to protect me." The officers raised weapons. "She's dangerous," one shouted. "Step aside now." Then something incredible happened. Zara lifted her hand, and every rifle shut down. The soldiers froze. Their weapons sparked, glowed, then melted. The gold light around her hand faded slowly. She spoke calmly. "You point your weapons at my mate. You lose your right to aim at anything." The commander's eyes widened. "Mate?" Jackson stepped beside her again. "She's not just some alien," he said. "She's the reason I'm alive. She's part of me now." He looked at Zara. "And I want her to be part of my future." She stared at him, shocked. "You mean that?" "I've seen what you are without chains, without fear. You don't belong in a cage, Zara. You belong beside me." She didn't speak. She just stepped forward. And kissed him. Not out of hunger. Not for bonding. But for choice. And the cave itself responded. The walls cracked. Not in collapse, but release. A hidden chamber opened behind them. Inside it stood a dark, ancient throne. Empty. Zara felt her feet move. She walked toward it slowly. And when she touched the armrest, the golden light vanished from her skin. The throne accepted her. Symbols lit across its surface. It wasn't just a seat. It was a name, a title. She turned back to Jackson. "I was born Zara of the Night Clan," she said, "but that name was given to me by chains." He raised an eyebrow. "So what now?" She smiled. "I take yours." "Mine? I want to be more than vampire, more than bondmate. I want to be the one who gave me freedom." She walked down the steps. Her voice was soft. "I am Zara Cole now." He blinked, then laughed. "Did we just get married in a vampire cave?" She grinned. "Close enough." The Federation didn't touch them again. They couldn't. She wasn't an alien anymore. She was something else. And Jackson? He was now legend, the man who loved the woman with fangs, and made her smile.